Hello everybody, welcome to Karmic Palmlines. In this channel, we're going to be discussing about how to apply the intent and purposes of ancient palmistry, where the logic has been lost and how we can apply it to modern palmistry, where the reading can be a guide and the palmist himself can be a better guide to how you can have a better life. It will be a series of videos that we're going to be making and we will take you through step by step to its logical conclusion. Also in this video, I'm going to be exploring the concept of what is the logic behind palmistry. Now, in ancient times, the people who normally practiced palmistry were Hindu sages and seers. Okay, they were predominantly Hindus. And where they got the idea of, or where they got the inspiration of decoding palm lines was from their meditation and intuitive knowledge. Now, the science of palmistry has been passed down by generation to generation, just by word of mouth. And what has been handed down to modern day people and modern day palmistry is the reading of palmistry through understanding what each of the lines mean. For example, let's say your heart line or your mind line. It shows how your mind is, how your heart is, or your fate line, how you're going to be successful and things like that. Okay, so this is how it is. But the logic of this study has been lost. We don't know why the lines are there. Now, if we are going to go back to understand the psyche of sages and seers who did this, there would have been sages and seers who believed predominantly in karma. And because they believed in it firmly, that this was the way they read the moksha and enlightenment. And if introduced something like, and they introduced something like palmistry, the logic behind palmistry must be from the karmic point of view of karma or karma. So the logical deduction becomes even clearer when you take Valmiki, a Hindu sage who lived thousands of years ago. The Valmiki sect of Hinduism reveres Valmiki as a patron saint, as many temples are dedicated to him. Valmiki was born as Ratnakar, a Brahmin, but he was raised as a hunter and a bandit. After being abandoned as a kid, he lived a life of crime, stealing from travelers to sustain himself. His life was altered when he met Narada, who enlightened him about consequences of his action, which is karma, and advised him to change. Then Valmiki dedicated himself to penance and meditation, purification of karma, achieving enlightenment and spiritual purity. As a result, the story of Valmiki from a thief named Ratnakar to the holy sage is well known and revered. His journey is often seen as a symbol of power, of self-discipline and ability to overcome transgression, negative karma, to achieve spiritual enlightenment. After achieving enlightenment, Valmiki then composed the Ramayana, a Sanskrit epic that narrates the life of Lord Rama. Now, after Valmiki reached enlightenment, he penned down the epic Ramayana. Now, I want to keep it very short with Ramayana, and let me just give you a very brief thing about Ramayana. Now, Lord Rama was the prince of Ayodhya. He was exiled from the kingdom for 14 years by his stepmother. Her name was Kaikeyi, who demanded from the king the coronation of her son instead of Ram. And her son's name was Bharat instead. While in exile, his wife Sita is kidnapped by Ravana. Ram's wife Sita was kidnapped by Ravan. And Rama then, with the help of his brother, and Lakshmana and his devoted monkey god Hanuman. They go on this journey to rescue Sita. Then the war began, and finally Ravana was killed, and then Sita was rescued. Now, Lord Rama and Sita then returned to Ayodhya, to the rightful place as king. Then the era of peace and justice was came into the kingdom. Now, the concept of karma plays a very significant role in the Ramayana, highlighting the principles of actions have consequences, shaping the destinies of characters. The Ramayana demonstrates how karma is intertwined with individuals reaping the fruits of their choices. Now, the epic also illustrates the actions, whether good or bad, they have consequences, emphasizing the importance of living with awareness and integrity. Now, some examples of the play out of karma in Ramayana. Now, Ravana's arrogance and his kidnapping of Sita led to the downfall and the destruction of his kingdom, highlighting the consequences of evil deeds. Rama's battle against Ravana and the demons are not merely about conquering territory, but are also seen as karmic struggle between good and evil. By upholding ethical conduct, he ensures the victory of good as positive karma for himself and others. The conclusion here is that Valmiki was not only an ardent believer of the concept of karma, but also wished others to understand the concept of karma and how it leads to positive karma and a better life for everybody. Now, Valmiki and Palmistry. The tie between the concept of karma to palmistry lies in Valmiki's next work. Now, the Hindu sage Valmiki is also credited with writing a book comprising of 567 stanzas, the title of which translates in English as the teaching of Valmiki's Maharishi on male palmistry. Valmiki, who gained enlightenment through realization of karma, credited with writing of the Ramayana based on core concepts of karma, is also said to have written a book on palmistry, further solidifying the ancient origins of palmistry and its ties to the concept of karma. Now, guys, the intent is to people and normal laymen is about having a good life because there are consequences of all actions and demonstrated in Ramayana and the decoding of symbols in the palm that reflects your karma. Okay? The ancient art of palmistry can only by logical deduction be taken as reading of fortune and destiny. Okay? Predestined as a consequence of part actions of karma, the palm signs and lives are therefore a map of your karmic imprints.